All right, everybody. I am here at the new desk. Had to set this thing up a little bit tonight and thought I would celebrate by working on an old AA5 radio. This is I think it's an Admiral, from what I can tell from that tag. Unknown make and model. I don't know what this is. It says not tested. It's kind of cool looking. Super aeroscope, spiderweb antenna concealed. Yeah, I bet there are some spiderwebs in there. Super aeroscope was an Admiral thing, that's why I think this is an Admiral, but it could be a different thing as well. I think Admiral made stuff for like Firestone, and B.F. Goodrich had a line called Mantola. I can't really tell. It looks like there's an A at the front of it. So I think this is just a normal Admiral, but I'm going to do a little searching and see what I can find about it. And of course, the way that I do this, when I don't know what something is I look up the brand on the Radio Attic. I just kind of sift through all the models that have sold. Not the ones for sale, but all the ones that have sold, because it's a much bigger collection. And just kind of looking here... Scanning across the bottom. Those ones are kind of cool. Oh, look at that. Admiral looks like a 15D5 from 1940 is what we have here. That's cool. 85 years old. Well, I really want to know what's in here. I'm sure it's a pretty standard little circuit design, but you know, these are all so similar yet so different on the inside. So we're going to pop the back open on this, and luckily it still has the original back with all three of those little weird like tension fit things. Taking the back cover off reveals nothing crazy. It's got a circle antenna, which is kind of unusual. I don't see any external antenna connections. So that's kind of weird. What's this? Looks intact though, so that's good. It's got a Dumont tube right there. So we know this has been in the shop. And it looks like a pretty new-ish one. That's got to be 50s or 60s. So I'm going to get the screws out from the bottom and we'll see. I also want to mention the lovely power cord on this with the now no longer adhesive crumbling electrical tape. It's probably good that they didn't test this. Okay, before we dig into this, I'm kind of excited because 2 screws were missing and the 2 that were still in there were loose. You all know what that means. That means you've got some DIY repairs in here. I see 2 newer RCA tubes. Well, there's no charring on the inside of this, it's just a lot of dust. 2 newer RCA tubes, like, what I mean by that, by newer is big logo RCA, post 1968. So this was being used until like at least 68, so maybe the 70s. Another RCA right there. There's a Dumont. Coronado. That's a house brand, which means that this one might have been, this tube here might have been gutted from a already functioning radio. Looks like the date stamp on that is 48th week of 1950. Doesn't look like it's been recapped from looking at the top, just because the capacitor connected to the antenna is original. But I haven't looked under the hood yet. It's an older RCA tube. No date stamp on that one. These kind of weird looking IF cans. They're kind of short and really boxy. We still have the original cover on this too. That's really rare. You'd never really find that. Speaker looks good. And it still looks moderately intact. These two are replacements right here. These are dry electrolytics, and these might actually still be good. That's probably some sort of date stamp right there. 948, 48th week of 59? I don't know. I don't see anything else that could be a date stamp. But yeah, these might still be good because they're dry electrolytics. I want to check out this power cord, and then maybe we'll power this up because it doesn't look too scary. Looking around in there, the ends are blown out of some of these capacitors, so I don't think it's going to do much. We do have an orange drop capacitor back in there, so this has also been to the shop for that. This thing has had a long life. Way longer than you'd expect. So here's our parts list. Man, it's nice to have a computer down here in the shop. We got 2.05 at 400s, 2.01 at 400s, and then 0.001 at 600, and then of course maybe 220 microfarad at 150. Originally that was probably a 30 and a 20, or a 50 and a 30. Something like that. Those were the kind of common sizes back then, but I mean, these things aren't very picky. And I say, this is going to be a very easy repair if that's all it needs, just a recap. Because, you know, I always say that these things, like if you're wanting to get into old radios, get yourself an old All-American 5 radio from the 40s or 50s. They're just so easy to fix. And of course, now that I say that, this is probably going to have all sorts of weird problems and stuff like that, but hopefully I didn't jinx myself there. I realize that I do have all those parts on hand too, which it's nice to have them on hand, which means that I can probably get this done tonight, but if not, then it would have given me a reason to go to the last Radio Shack in this area, which still carries capacitors like this, just loose. So one thing that's kind of unfortunate about these, this is becoming a problem that will grow and grow and grow as time goes on. Rubber wire. This is the condition of it right out of the case. I have not touched it at all, and I am not going to touch it at all. See how it's crumbling like that? That's going to short all over the place if you're not careful. So eventually this will need a complete rewire, and I'm not looking forward to that day because I know a lot of my radios will need a complete rewire eventually. This cloth wire they use up here, that's the good stuff. You want to see cloth wire when you open one of these up because the cloth wire is not going to disintegrate like the rubber stuff does. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. There's a nice example of a cloth-covered wire. That's what you want. I'm going to try to guard off that one red rubber wire from other stuff in there, so I guess I am going to touch it, so I lied. But it'll allow me to crack into this fresh roll of Scotch Super 88. That's always kind of special. Electrical tape is always so sticky on the sides. Watch this. Well, I'm done with the standard recap. I haven't done the filters, but I've gotten all the little guys under the hood, aside from that orange drop capacitor, because those are usually good. And of course the domino capacitors, which are pretty precision. A lot of them are point. On this one, they say their values, and there's one down there that's like 0.00005, and I'm like, I don't have that, so it's going to stay in there for now at least. I'm looking at this power cord. I pulled all the electrical tape off that I could, and it's in good shape, actually. It's not weirdly spliced or anything like that. In fact, there's no splicing at all. What that electrical tape was there for was to keep it from getting worn out when it rubs along the inside of that. I'm still going to take a multimeter and, you know, just make sure there's no shorts in this. But it's actually surprisingly good. So I'm just going to leave it as long as there's no shorts. And then maybe eventually I'll put a polarized one on there just so then the chassis isn't live. I just do that because you don't necessarily have to, but just a safety thing. And then we'll throw it all back together. We'll plug it in, turn it on, see if these two are good, and if they're not, we'll change them, and if they are, then I guess I'll just leave them in there. Okay, so the power cord is doing something very bizarre. It's reading 0 ohms on one side, as it should be, and on the other side, it's reading 70 ohms even. How does that work? Where is the resistor? Where is the resistor in this? Unless it's a weird curtain burner thing where it's got one side of the power cord is just a, like a heater core. And it acts as a resistor, but I'm gonna cut this side out right here and measure it when it's not in circuit and see if it's still 70 ohms. It's so weird. Well, now that side of the power cord is just reading straight open. So, just gonna replace it. About 3 seconds of looking, I found this. I forget what it came off of. I think a lamp or something. Yeah, always cut off your power cords when you throw stuff away because they do come in handy if you work on stuff like this. Okay, 1940 Admiral model, what is it, 15-D5. Post-repair test take 1 with old filter capacitors. Oh. There we go, gotta make sure the radio is actually on. Now we're up to speed on wattage. I see tubes glowing. I have to call it glowage. There it goes. Something wasn't connecting in there.
Under Air Heating and Cooling, you call, we'll answer. On the job?
Under Air Heating and Cooling.
In the middle of the night? Under Air Heating and Cooling. Even in the shower.
Under Air Heating and Cooling. Hi, this is Shane Larson.
It actually gets a lot of stations. It's not super late out. Right now it's 9:20 p.m. So I guess it is moderately late. I think the big stations have turned on their things, but I mean, I'm in a basement that's stone lined because this house's frame is made out of quartz or something. Stone, I know that, but I mean, I'm underground right now.
I encourage people to go to the house.
The Asher team today.
Sounds like the things might be, the banana slicer tuner might be rubbing there. Those definitely seem like they might be bent down there. I'll have to go through that with one of those little jeweler's magnifying glasses. But it works up where I need it to.
Accomplished doctors who always focus on you.
This is the only station that is local to me. I live pretty rurally. So.
Perdea Health Doctor-led, specializing in
And our dialight's working too.
A lot of talk before the game about how Ellen Dingler. Then after a couple of unearned runs scored in the second inning, it was a big one.
The official hotel of the Waterloo Blackhawks.
Waterloo.
You can throw that backdoor hook to lefty.
ScottStarnes.com.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations.
Later added a home run against Elvin Rodriguez, who, as Ben Murphy talked about, was the star in relief.
But yeah, it works.
5 innings, that was
That's
the only run
awesome.
that Elvin permitted.
All I really needed was those capacitors to be changed, and even then, with the new power, like all it really actually needed was a power cord. It would have worked with those other capacitors in there, but it would have sounded a little weird and wouldn't be very sensitive. But this is very sensitive. I'm not even going to have to align this. I'm just going to leave it where it is because I'm happy with how it's performing. The case is see-through, which is kind of weird. You know, you can see through it up here. The dial starts like right here. I mean, you guys know that. But yeah, didn't need like hardly anything. I'm just gonna leave those old filters in there, and then you know if it needs filters, I'll change them. But I don't hear not even the slightest hum, so I think we're good. Anyways, with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.